Hi again, everybody. Welcome back to GoAztecs.com. Continuing coverage of the 2011 signing day with the red and black football team. Proud to be joined by the head football coach at San Diego State University, Mr. Rocky Long. Coach, before we start talking about the day and who has signed, how'd you sleep last night?
I slept pretty good. I mean, we had contacted all of them that were committed to us the night before. Mm-hmm. And they all seemed to be solid and seemed to be ready to sign at the right time. And we had all of them in before 10 o'clock this morning, so it went really well.
Now, obviously, there was a lot of flurry up here at San Diego State with Brady Hoke taking the position at Michigan. You were very quickly after that named the new head coach here at San Diego State. From that point on, though, was it a lot of scurrying about contacting the recruits, letting them know that there was still cohesion in the ranks and there was continuity and this was going to be seamless? Did a lot of your time go towards that?
I think the first week, most of the time went towards that. Mm-hmm. And then we had 3 assistant coaches that stayed here instead of going, and I thought they did an unbelievable job. I mean, 3 of them did the work of 9 guys. When you become a head coach, you can only be off campus one time to see a recruit. Mm-hmm. An assistant coach can see him more than that. So they hit the road and hit every one of our kids that was committed. We continued to recruit the ones we were recruiting that hadn't committed yet, and we got a couple of those toward the end. But I thought they did an unbelievable job. Every one of the guys that were committed to us were uneasy, unsure, mm-hmm. wondered what was going on. And at that time, a whole bunch of the other schools came back in on those guys mm-hmm. and tried to convince them to change their minds. So I thought the coaches that stayed here did a great job of keeping them in the fold.
Now, you're not only trying to keep recruits in the fold, but you're also trying to put your staff, you finished putting your staff together at that time. How tough was that juggling act?
Oh, it was not that hard. I mean, it's good that you've done it before. You kind of know how things go. You know what to expect. You know how to, work the system and know how to use your time. And the most important thing at that time was keeping the recruits in the fold.
Sure.
And then on your off hours after midnight and stuff, that's when you tried to hire coaches, and if they weren't awake, you didn't want them anyway.
About the staff that you have put together, and I'm not sure a lot of the Aztec fans are familiar yet with the new coaches you brought in, but it looks from an outsider's point looking in, guys who are ready to get down right to work and work hard.
Yeah, we're still missing one spot. We don't have an offensive line coach. Mm-hmm. We'll have one by Thursday, and then we'll be completely full. But what we have on the staff are guys with varied experiences, a lot of experience. All of them have coaching for quite a while. Mm-hmm. On defense, we picked a couple guys that know the system, that have worked in the system before, coached the system before. And on offense, we hired Andy Ludwig as our coordinator, and he basically runs the same system that was run here last year.
Okay.
In fact, he played for Al Borges in college.
That works.
So that's kind of an easy transition, and mm-hmm. hopefully it's easy for the players. It's much more important for the players to feel easy with the transition than it is for a new coach. Speaking
of the players, 23 gentlemen will be wearing the color of the red and black beginning now, since their names are on the dotted line. Obviously, next year coming in as freshmen. Were there anybody that you were really worried about as far as guys who may not sign, guys who were going to sign?
Well, early on with the coaching change, I thought all of them were a little shaky. Mm-hmm. But I think most of them settled back in and realized that they were committing to a program and committing to a school, not to a coach. And I thought it went really well. Now, there was a couple, and it was funny because one of them was the first letter in this morning, and one of them was the last letter in this morning. They got especially hit hard by several Pac-10 schools.
Who was the first letter in this morning?
Darrell Green, which is from Northern California, one of the offensive linemen. Mm-hmm. He got hit hard by several of our competitors in 3 Pac-10 schools.
Wow.
So I'm not saying any names because I don't want them to get any publicity.
I hear you.
But he, we went up and saw him, mm-hmm. and I thought he was solid the whole time. I thought we had to convince Mom.
Oh, wow.
And then Mom decided that it was okay, and everything turned out all right.
Gotcha.
And then the last one we got was Brandon Wright, running back from Las Vegas.
Okay.
And the local school in Vegas, all the way up to the very last day you could be on the road, I think had their whole coaching staff go over there and see them the last day you could be on the road.
Wow.
So from the time the coaching change happened, now he didn't commit to us until after the coaching change.
Okay.
And so we did a pretty good job recruiting him, and then when he committed to us a week after the coaching change, Then all of a sudden, the school in Vegas decided that they wanted him too. You know, they weren't. Now he was recruited by a few Pac-10 schools too, but they wanted him to be a defensive back, and we want him to be a running back. So he's got juice, and I'm glad he hung in there because they were hitting him hard right up to the last minute.
23 altogether, and for this segment here, we'll concentrate on the local kids who have decided to become Aztecs, starting off with Robert Craighead out of El Capitan, 6'4", 230-pound tight end coming in. That's a big frame. That's a big kid already.
I think what you'll see about all these kids is that our linemen are big guys, but they're all athletes. We were impressed with him when he came to our camp last summer, and we offered him then. Not only did he show us in camp that he's a good athlete, that he can run routes, he can catch the ball, but he showed a lot of aggressiveness as a blocker, showed strength and power as a blocker. And so it was good that he committed a while back, and I don't think he ever wavered very much because he was committed to the school and the program.
Running back out of Madison High School here in town, Deshaun Hardwick, 5'9", 175, 180 range. 180 range. I would assume this guy can scoot as well.
Yeah, he's legitimately fast. You know, I think he ran a 10.700 meters last year. He's going to try to be a 10.5 100-meter guy this year. But he's got good quickness, good speed, and you know, he played on a really good high school football team, and one of the reasons they went so far was because of what he could do with the ball. You don't tackle him in the open field, and when he gets in the open, most people don't chase him down. So, I mean, he's got a lot of the qualities we want, and it's really nice that he's from here.
You got a mammoth offensive lineman out of Mount Miguel High School, Reggie Jones, as they say, somebody who blocks out the sun when you're standing next to him.
Well, you know, it's funny that in our offensive linemen, if you look at the heights, they're all tall. If you look at the weights and you look at some other people's recruiting list, they're not quite as big as some of the others, but they have the frame that they're going to be giants someday. Probably before they play, they're going to be giants. But we picked them because of their athletic ability. A couple of them play basketball. All of them can run. All of them can change directions. And you know, in this day and age, you got to be an athlete to be able to play, no matter if you're a big guy or not.
Sam Meredith, the defensive tackle out of Helix High School. What can you talk about as far as he's concerned?
Well, that's the same thing. I mean, he's really a good athlete. He played both sides of the ball. I mean, he played tight end as well as defensive end. He's a powerful guy. He's a big guy, but he runs really, really well. So, you know, we're on the same point here. Big guys that are good athletes make really good linemen on both sides of the ball.
And as far as being an athlete and a big guy, the linebacker coming out of Bishop's, Micah Seau. That name sounds familiar. I don't know why here in San Diego. Seriously, the Seau lineage, obviously Micah has it. Got to be a hell of a football player if everything works out.
Yeah, you know, I don't like to repeat myself, but he also played tight end and fullback as well as middle linebacker.
Again, an athlete.
Yeah, an athlete that can play both sides of the ball. We recruit him as a linebacker. And he is a good linebacker, but he's a big guy, too. I mean, there's no telling. Maybe he's going to be a defensive end someday. I hope he doesn't care.
Do you sleep tonight? Do you sigh a little bit of relief and relax a bit that the process is over? Was it typical for a recruiting process? Obviously, the coaching change is something that, you know, normally you don't have. But as far as the recruiting process and talking to the kids, a typical year?
It was up till the coaching change.
Okay.
Once the coaching change happened, everything happened so fast, and a crack opened up that we had, I think, 16 or 17 commitments before the coaching change. And when the cracks opened up, everybody that was recruiting those kids before came back in and started recruiting them again. So now you know those young men like it here, or they wouldn't have committed in the first place.
Right.
But they're unsure what direction the program's going to take, who's going to be the coach, who's going to be their coach, and all of a sudden some insecurity arises. So I think the first week or week and a half after that, if we weren't able to do a good job making them feel good about the program staying in the same direction, I think we would have lost a bunch of them. So it wasn't real typical.
But you obviously have done a good job. 23 pretty darn good football players arriving on the Mesa next year. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Just a reminder, you can see videos of all the recruits right here on GoAztecs.com. And coming up at 2 o'clock, Coach Long's press conference. He will meet with all of the media here in San Diego talking about his 2011 recruiting class. I'm Mike Costa. Thanks for watching our signing day special right here on GoAztecs.com.